And we are live here at Blake Field in Watseka, Illinois for IHSA football, PBL Panthers against the Watika Warriors. Tonight is the battle of the two teams that are 3-0. We'll see who comes out with this win. We'll be right back with Panther football on IHSA TV. And we are live here at Blake Field in Watseka, Illinois. Tonight, calling the play-by-play for you in this wonderful game be myself, Peyton McClure. And my partner tonight will be Jay Eshelman. He will be doing the color commentating. Tonight, simply we're going to start with last week's game. PBL beat Iroquois West 22-6, ending their undefeated record on the season. Tonight, they will face a tough Watseka team that beat STM, or in other words, St. Thomas More, 24-21.
You know, this Watika team really is a good football team. I remember looking at some records of their play earlier this year, and like we say, they're 3-0, as are we, but they have 3 wins on the road, Peyton, and I think that might be a big factor in tonight's game.
3 wins on the road, I mean, that's pretty tough. In high school football, how early in the season is, you get all those fans out to come out and just, it's not easy winning on the road, especially how far they went. Speaking of the road games, we'll talk about a little bit who they beat and how bad they beat them. First, they started off the season. They played Robinson, home of Myers-Leonard, 25-6. Now, Jay, I don't think Robinson has a wonderful past of football, but still, I mean, that's a pretty tough opponent.
You know, you can't overlook teams in schools as big as that. I mean, in Aroma with probably a 100-plus more kids, you know, you can never overlook anything like that. A school with decent size, I'm sure they have decent athletes. Maybe not as many football players as you'd like to see, but still a decent school.
Yes, and then they went on week 2 to play Paris. They pummeled them 49-21. I don't think Paris was that great of a team, but obviously Paris is they have some pretty decent school size. I'm sure they're going to give you a run for your money.
Absolutely, you know, Paris, another one of those schools. I mean, they're not much bigger, but you know, you always gotta look within attendance at school more than a team that you're playing. You know, I mean, there's always a possibility for more of those athletes. Like we said, maybe not as many football players. Maybe you know that know the game as well. But again, with a bigger school you're playing against, you always got to look at that factor.
And then they went on the road again last week to play STM St. Thomas More with the Purdue-bound John Strasser at middle linebacker. And we'll pause back here for the national anthem. tonight, your players to watch. For PBL tonight, I think you're going to have to look at Weston Weber and Trent Wooten. They will have to connect tonight for some passing yards. They have not really opened up the passing game. I guess Weston Weber's only passed 19 times. I think that's going to have to open up for us to move the ball tonight. I think the running game has definitely worked. But Watseka, they've obviously prepared for it all week. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Absolutely. I mean, the Panther offensive line's definitely done a great job of executing the run this year. And like you said, with Wes Weber and Trent Wooten tonight, I mean, as we may see later, I mean, these teams are very run-based, Peyton. Very run-based. And with playing run-based teams, you definitely have run-based defenses with possible defenses loading the box 6, 7, 8 people at a time. And, I think our offensive line needs to do a good job of executing, getting Weston Weber to his rollout passes, possibly getting receivers open. That will definitely be a big connection this evening.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Jay. On the defensive side of the ball, I have Will Bowman, Will McClure, Jesse Houtzel, Drew Schroed, and as you notice, all the linebackers. Watseka is just going to run the ball, folks. They're going to pass the ball sparingly. So, Austin Blair, what does he do? He runs the ball. Dalton DePattix, he's going to roll out, and he's going to run the ball. It's not going to be an easy night. They're going to have to stop the run and contain those two guys tonight and take care of business.
Absolutely. You took the words right out of my mouth. With all those linebackers you listed right there, containment, that'll be a very big key. Because like we've seen in previous years, I mean, Watika is definitely a run-based team. Austin Blair, first-team All-State coaches poll running back. And their quarterback this year is more of a scrambling type quarterback. So with that, we're about to get the game started here.
Yes, we are, Jay. PBL will be in the white tonight, and Watseka will be in the maroon.
PBL will receive the football back deep with number 28, Shrew, number 85,
This is definitely a statement game for PBL as we go on the road and face Watseka in their home opener. And the kickoff. It's high and deep. Zach Weisenbarn will return it. He's going to take it back. He gets around the outside. And he's going to be brought down by a host of defenders. And PBL will start with the ball. At the 19-yard line.
Wow, Peyton, like we'd seen there in pregames we were talking about, that kicker's got quite a leg on him. He did a good job of putting that ball, almost behind our receivers, although Zach Weismar did a pretty good job of getting us decent field position.
Yes, especially out near the 20-yard line. Weston Weber's at the controls under center, hands it off to Houtzel. Houtzel is going to be stopped for no gain. Watseka is definitely prepared for this, folks. You better watch out. Trent Wooten and Weston Weber, like Jay and I said, they're going to have to pass the ball. But prove me wrong. Weber at the controls. Hands off to Schroed. Schroed is going to gain about 3 yards on this. Early on, Jay, we're seeing a very athletic defense from Watseka.
Absolutely. We've seen we like to run our signature plays to start off the game with a fullback dive to begin it right there, and then a run right to Schroed. Watika has done a great job of pursuing those guys, filling those holes, and making those tackles.
We have 3rd down and 7. Weber's at the controls. We have twins out left. Takes a snap. Looks a pitch out to Schroed. Oh, he's tripped up. But we have laundry on the field. Illegal block in the back from the Panthers.
Again, there on Peyton on that block in the back, we talked about how a big key to this game. Again, like every week, will be the run game. And with that run game comes the execution of the offensive line. I think we really need to do a good job of cutting down on penalties, especially on these big away games.
And that's the second time this year PBL has been stopped on the first drive. Usually they score. They have scored twice this year so far. Schroep takes the snap, punts it. It's high. Not a bad punt. Good spiral. Fair catch made by Kidwell. Watseka will take over with the ball at the 45-yard line.
And with the Warriors getting the ball on the 35-yard line, out trots Austin Blair. Like we said, coaches poll first team All-State. Watika is definitely looking for him to have a big game.
There's no doubt. Ever since his freshman year, everyone looks, Austin Blair, big name, obviously, in this area. Also, you can't forget the Michael Vick style of quarterback that Dalton DePatis brings to the table. He's going to roll out. You may see the option. You're going to see a fullback trap. You're going to see a lot. DePatis takes the snap, hands off to Blair. Blair is stopped behind the line by Jordan Anderson, the sophomore. I tell you what, that kid, he is one heck of a monster. Maybe a little confusion behind the line from the Watseka offense. That is definitely one of the keys tonight. Defensive line will have to get in there and create penetration and stop Austin Blair behind the line.
Yeah, speaking of that great penetration, sophomore Jordan Anderson doing a great job of blowing up that hole early here for the Panthers.
And hand off to Blair. He doesn't get really anywhere. I mean, not a bad run, maybe a yard or two, but still good defense by the PBL Panthers.
Both ways here. As PBL is forced to a quick third down, as Watika is forced to a quick third down here. Let's see if the Panther defense can make a stand.
Well, let's hope they do, Jay.
Like we said, that Michael Vick style of quarterback, even on third downs, down and distance, you consider pass, but you always got to be aware of this running.
He's so open. He catches it, and he's going to run in for a touchdown. But he fumbled the ball as he was tackled. They're saying a touchback. An amazing break for PBL. I can't describe how big of a break that is early on in this game with only 8:48 left to play in the first quarter. The ball will be brought back to the 20-yard line. Well, I'll tell you what, folks. I didn't see how wide open he was. Maybe a little confusion there. Like I said, Michael Vick style quarterback, he's going to roll out. It's going to be a tough test tonight for the Panthers secondary to decide run or pass.
Absolutely. Even there on the catch by that wide receiver, I'm not sure whose name is, but something taught from an early age. Ball security. You can never ever slack on ball security, no matter where you are, whether you're running in the end zone or a fullback dive up the middle.
Have to Houtzel up the middle. He gets a pretty decent run out of it. I'm going to take that, folks. A 6-7-yard gain. A 9-yard gain. Scratch that. Folks, like Jay said, you got to protect the ball no matter what. It's kind of like that one run that guy had in the Super Bowl a while back, and he was running in the end zone. Guy comes up behind him, knocks the ball out of his hands. They get the ball back. It's definitely going to change the game, especially this early. 8 seconds on the play clock. Weber at the controls. Hands off to Houtzel. Again, he's going to have enough for a first down. Wait a minute, there's a fumble. Watseka ball. And Watseka crowd is fired up. In order for the Panthers to silence this crowd, they got to score. They're going to stop them. That definitely, when the kid fumbled it and then we got the ball back at the 20-yard line, that definitely silenced them. But we're going to have to make a big stand right here and keep them quiet.
Peyton, we hadn't really thought much about it for our keys to the game, but now it seems as if the defense is hitting really hard, that ball security and turnovers may be a big factor here tonight as well.
Yes, definitely. Pattis at the controls. Handoff up the middle. No, wait a minute. Scratch that. He's running the outside, and he's going to get down to the 1 yard line. He hit the pylon. Touchdown, Watika Warriors. Simply it was a good fake by Watseka. Handoff to Kidwell around the right side. Good run. Give credit to Watseka. Nice fake. And Watseka will take an early lead. 6-0. Folks, really early, not looking too well for both sides. I mean, Watseka turned it over. Heck, we didn't even score or get much where on our first drive. Watseka comes out, fumbles the ball. We get the ball back. We fumble the ball. I mean, it's just kind of like back and forth game.
And, with that score Watika had right there, like we talked about, the Panther linebackers got to do a good job of containing this evening. Run-based quarterback, run-based offense in general with Austin Blair, right there, their quarterback did a great job of selling that fake to the fullback, making a great read, pulling back as Trent Wooten had bid on that fake. He did a great job of hitting that hole, and it eventually ended up in a touchdown.
Yes, Jay, and as the extra point was blocked, as I heard early this week, Watseka has not kicked any extra points up to this point. I don't really understand why. They've been going for the 2-point conversion quite often, I assume. And even though watching the kicker in warm-ups, he's just kicking absolute bombs. But I guess they don't kick extra points, but they did there, and I guess we saw why. They just got blocked. So there's your reason, folks. Panthers will be back to receive. Weisenbarn and Schroet. If you're just joining us, Watika scored on a run by Austin Kidwell. 6-0 Warriors. Watch for the onside kick here as they just took an early lead. And the kick is high and deep once again to Weisenbarn. Oh, he muffs it. He's getting around the left side, and he's going to be tackled by a host of defenders. And I tell you what, Jay, Watseka is gaining some momentum. We need to stop him right here. We need to score. We need to move the ball, or maybe a long, methodical drive like we have been in the first 3 games this year.
Absolutely. I mean, right there is Watika had a really quick score. They come out, like you said, have a lot of momentum. We need to do a good job of executing here. I mean, gaining good chunks of yards, getting a couple first downs. We need a good, like you said, long, methodical drive.
Weber under center. Hands it off to Schroet. Schroet is going to gain about maybe 5 yards on the play. Not a bad gain.
The way we've seen Watseka defense tonight, I mean, right there, Schroet makes a decent gain of 5 yards, but still, when Schroet's hit, I mean, Watseka, so far has done a good job of swarming to the balls. They've had 4 or 5 guys finishing tackles.
Yes, as we talked about last week, as the Panthers did a lot of swarming and tackling, that's what Watseka is doing a lot of tonight on the kickoff. And heck, just right there. And it looks like we have twins right in the formation. Weber at the controls. Man in motion. Weber's rolling out the pass. He's got Tim Keir, but he's going to decide to take off and run it. He's going to get tripped up. Gain about 1 or 2 yards. And enough for a PBL first down. He did have Tim Keir wide open, but I can't complain. He decided to run. He got the first down. What more can you ask?
Absolutely. With the wing tee or run-based offense, even on rollout passes, sometimes a big option for that quarterback is keeping the ball and running, getting that good extra chunks of yards. That's a good job by Weston Weber right there.
Yeah, it's definitely doing what the defense expects you not to do. Hand off to House up the middle. A hard-nosed runner he is. Gains about 3 yards. Good run by Jesse Housel. That's just going to get you somewhere at least, because you just keep the clock running, and then it ends up being a good drive. You score, you take a lead. A lot of things factor in long, methodical drives.
Absolutely, and like we had said with Jesse Housel and Drew Schroet, they accent each other very well, as we said last week, and if we can get this run game going, maybe we had seen a glimpse there of passing the ball like Weber had shown.
Yes. Weber back to pass, but he's sacked, and it's going to be a fumble. Recovered by Watseka. Man, I tell you what, Watseka's getting some serious big breaks here. He was just under pressure. There's just no way he could escape that. He was in the throwing motion. Didn't get it off in time. And that's going to result in a fumble ball to Watseka. And they definitely have the momentum now. It's in Watseka's favor. We have to gain it back, a turnover, and we're going to have to do something about this. Timeout, PBL.
You know, Peyton, like you said, Watika gaining momentum, and I mean, even another factor here. I mean, once again, this is not something we had planned for. We have had 3 turnovers here in the first 7 minutes of a high school football game here. This is not something you see with these 2 teams coming in here undefeated, you know, being known well this so far for executing well and getting plays right and doing things the right way.
You know what, Jay, I definitely agree with you. 3-0, both. I mean, you don't see bunch of turnovers. I mean, and it's kind of like that state championship game a couple years ago between Tuscola and Lexington. 2 great teams. They just turn the ball over. I mean, that's what happens a lot when you get 2 good teams. They kind of beat themselves a little bit.
Absolutely. And another thing that comes with those turnovers is, I mean, field position. And with the momentum Watika is building here, it seems as if our defense really needs to step it up because we cannot have them capitalizing on any turnovers.
Yeah, Jay, one of our keys, we had to silence the crowd in order to get control of this game. We had to silence the crowd. This could change everything right here if we silence the crowd with a big stop. We need a huge stop. DePatis at the controls. Man in motion. Pitch out to Austin Blair. He's going to get around the outside. He's going to be brought down by Weston Weber. That's going to be enough for Watseka first down.
Right there, you see what the turnovers do as Watika was rewarded great field position on that fumble there, that unfortunate fumble by Weber. But, you know, right there, like, again, we're going back to the defensive keys of the game. All the PBL linebackers got to do a good job of reading, run, and especially turning Austin Blair back inside because, as we've seen in all past years that he's been in high school football, he has great foot speed on the outside.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, he's great power, great foot speed. You got to contain him, move him back to the middle, and stop him there. DePatis under center. Man in motion. Hand off to Blair right at the chute, and he's going to score for a touchdown. Watseka's up early, 12-0, folks. You know, it's not all necessarily that Watseka's offense is moving the ball right up in the field. We're kind of beating ourselves right now, folks, and I mean, I hate to say that. I want to see these guys win, but we're just beating ourselves right now. We can't do that. We got to come back. We got to build a strong drive. We got to score. Looks like Watseka's going to go for the 2-point conversion. Jay.
Yeah, as we'd seen with the field goal there after their first score, you know. I mean, we had not seen a very good result from there, so they should probably go for 2.
Yeah, you don't see many blocked extra points in high school football. It just doesn't happen like that. Football, period. Looks like
unfamiliar shotgun formation here.
You don't see that much in a running team. The pass is going to roll out, and he's going to get in for the 2-point conversion. An early 2-touchdown lead for the Watseka Warriors, 14-0. We're going to take a break here watching Panther football on IHSA TV. And we're back here watching IHSA football. Number 17 to kick off. It's high and deep. And I tell you what, folks, this kid's got a boot. Talon Yaden back to receive this time. He's going to go around the left side. He's going to go. He could. Oh, and he's lassoed down. Oh, man. The kicker definitely took him down. But I tell you what, Yaden created some momentum right there. A nice return. Created something out of nothing. A deep kick down the left sideline. He could have just let it roll out of bounds. We could have gotten the penalty. But no, he decides he's going to run the ball, create some excitement, and lighten up this crowd. And I think we got something going here.
Absolutely. I mean, from what we've seen, Watika has been nearly flawless on defense. But there they had a bit of a breakdown as though it looked like they assumed we were going to cut back inside. But again, we made a great read, cut it back outside as the sideline was open. We gained a good amount of yardage for good field position here.
Another one of those bright, shining stars in this football program. Weber under center. Takes the snap. Hand off to Houtzel. Straight up the chute. Maybe 3-4 yards. Into the game, Nick Heisler. Looks like Logan Wilson's going to take a break here. Weber calling the play. We need a big run, a big pass, something big to happen right here. Get a big first down.
Absolutely. Like you said, one of your keys to the game, we need to silence this Watika crowd. We do not need to give them anything to cheer about.
Exactly. Hand off to Houtzel right at the chute. It's going to be very close to a first down. Really close. 3rd and 2. Let's see what the Panthers do. Into the game, Tim Keir and Zach Weisenbarn will take a break. 20 seconds on the play clock, folks. Weber under center. 4:10 left to play in the half. Watseka a 2-touchdown lead. Weber takes the snap, hands up right at the middle. Houtzel breaks free, and he's going to gain about 20 yards. See exactly what Jay and I were talking about. A big, huge run right there might create some excitement. Just right there.
Absolutely. You know, like we said, this is a very good run-based offense, and it almost seemed as if the PBL Panther offensive line came out the first couple drives, maybe not necessarily scared, but not completely focused on what they needed to do and who they needed to target, and it looked like they did a great job there of blocking down and creating a good hole for Jesse Houtzel.
Weber under center. Hands off to Schroed. Schroed gets around the right side, and he's going to be brought down by a host of Watseka defenders. Still a pretty decent game.
Absolutely. Those big chunks of yards, moving the ball 5 or 6 yards a time. Hey, 5 plus 5 equals 10. I mean, that's 2 plays before a 4th down. I mean, if you do that every time, you're looking at being in the end zone.
I definitely agree with that, Jay. And you know what? The other thing about running the ball is it's just going to wear the defense down. Like I wrote down in my notes today, fatigue. I mean, the team who's in better shape could win this game because both teams run the ball a lot. So we'll see who gets some fresh legs in there and who wins this game. Weber under center. Looks like he's changing the snap count out the line. Hand off to Houtzel right the middle. Another big game, and he chucks the first guy he sees, and he's going to gain it up for a PBL first down.
Like we said, the first couple drives here, it almost seems as if the Panthers have to, all of a sudden, start to have a little bit of pep in their step.
And we have some laundry on the field. Looks like it's going to be on Watseka. Face mask. Another more yards just to add on to our drive. And the clock will run. 2:50 left to play. Weber under center. He's going to take out for the bootleg run. He's going to gain some yards on this, folks. Looks like he's going to be up for a PBL first down, folks.
Again, we're going back to prior games in the season here. Last week we saw a good hard run by Weston Weber, and it almost seems as if with this run-based offense, he almost does as good a job as our backs as reading blocks and turning balls back upfield. Maybe an inexperienced quarterback there goes towards the sideline where he doesn't gain as many yards. Although Weber didn't break it into a big play, he did a good job of cutting it back upfield where he has more options.
Yes, definitely. You also got to acknowledge the receivers. Those guys put their bodies out there and just block away. Weber under center. Hands off to Schroeder on the left side. He's going to gain some yards and should be enough for a first down. That's going to be enough for a first down. PBL moving the ball real well. We're going to need to see this throughout the rest of the game. Heck, the rest of this drive, we need to score here, Jay.
Like we said, we've been doing a great job of executing and moving the ball here. And, but credit to Watika defense right there. As Schroeder is another one of those running backs in the area that has great foot speed on the outside. Great open field tackle there by the Watika cornerback.
A lot of people talk about Drew Schroeder, and a lot of people talk about Austin Blair. They're very similar. There's no doubt about it. Weston Weber under center. Hands it off to Schroeder. Schroeder on the right side. He's going to get in for a PBL touchdown. Woo! What a nice run by Drew Schroeder. Great blocks downfield. And that's going to result in 6. We're going to cut the lead to 8 there. And it looks like, and we're in our swinging gate formation. It looks a little different than it has been for the past few weeks. He's going to step in. Weber's going to go out for the option. Is he going to get in? No, he will not. Like I said last week, one of those things you can do out of the swing gate. You can roll on the option. Still.
And, hey, maybe not a great read, but like you said, with that swinging gate option, they probably had a couple of people of the Watika defense lined up in different spots. Weber might have seen something. They do give him the option to check that play and see which play they're going to do. Weber possibly made a good read, possibly didn't, but, Watika did a good job of pursuing him right there and making that tackle.
Still a good drive by PBL, resulting in 6 points, cutting the lead down to 8. That's exactly what we needed right there, folks. Firing up the crowd. Kind of silencing the Watseka crowd. They're going to quiet down a little bit. We need a big stop here to shut them up and just get this game going and get back in it.
Absolutely. We said right there our offense makes a statement, comes out, has a good, long, methodical drive that ends up in a score. Now we need to have our defense do the same thing here.
Exactly. You can definitely tell after a drive like that, the defense is definitely going to be worn down. Just running the ball nonstop. It's definitely going to wear defense down.
And, like we said, with running the ball and defense is getting worn down and fatigue, this is where the Panther defense and, the Watika defense, for that matter, they need to do a good job of executing, staying focused, forcing 3 and outs to keep that defense on the field, therefore not giving them as much time to recover.
Yeah. Wilson's going to kick off here. And it's a pooch. Oh, but he fumbles it! And he recovers it. Oh, my. Still a pretty good pooch kick by Jonah Wilson. Very effective there. Bounced up. Kicked off the returner's knees. 2 PBL defenders were almost there. It was very close to being a PBL ball again, really close to the end zone.
Absolutely. You got to question what is going through a returner's mind right there as the ball is going towards you. If you are going to pursue that ball, you definitely need to make sure it's something you can fall on or either pick up and gain yards, not something that'll bounce off your knees and go out of bounds.
Something like that, there's a lot that goes through that kid's mind. Do I return it? And then a split second later, you get laid out. Never mind that. Reno Jameson. And he brought down the runner, I believe Austin Blair. Reno Jameson, great stop. I can't tell you how big of a stop that is right there. Loss of 2 on the play, 2nd and 12 for the Warriors.
Great job of Reno shedding his blocker there, filling up that hole, a good job by the whole defensive lineman occupying their blocks and all the linebackers reading run, giving Blair no options to go anywhere.
That's exactly what we need from kids like Reno, Jacob Meyer, and Jordan Anderson tonight to pat us at the controls. He takes a snap. He's going to throw it. He's wide open, but he's going to be brought down by Will McClure. Good open field tackle. 30 seconds. We're winding down the end of the first quarter here, folks. It's going to be 3rd and 3. We need a huge stop right here. Ball's on the 37-yard line. This is where the defense needs to gut up and really grind it out and just stop them right here. This is a big play for the PBL defense.
Absolutely. We definitely need to stop them from where they're going to be or push them backwards. As the clock runs down, Watika will run one final play. We really need to do a good job of forcing a 4th down, possibly punting us the ball back to start the second quarter.
DePat is going very slow to the line, but he gets a play off, and he's going to be stopped behind the line. Wow! I tell you what, Austin who?
We say that, but Austin Blair did a good job of moving his feet. His offensive line didn't give him much help. And to that credit, the Panther defense did a good job of breaking through that line, making a good 3rd down stand right here as Watika will punt to them to start the second quarter.
That is exactly what I mean, a momentum changer. At the end of the first quarter, the Panthers stop them for a 4-yard loss. I tell you what, folks, that is huge. Watseka back to punt. Takes a snap. It's going to be a fake. He's going to go out on the left side. Oh my, folks. He's going to gain about 25 yards on the play. Wow. That was a complete fake. That dampens the mood a little over here.
Very deflating play there, It almost makes us look not as smart as we thought we were. We talked about how well the Panther defense had played and how well they had done of pursuing people and making tackles and filling holes. Right there, even on punts, you cannot let your guard down. A great example, professional football last night. The Green Bay Packers ran a fake field goal from 27 yards out, The Bears overload one side, defense guesses, assumes. Packers make a great read. Watika did the same thing right there.
You know what, Jay, you're right. That guy went untouched last night. There was just no one near him. The thing is, you got to watch for things like that. The pass, and he completes it. Scratch that, incomplete. I guess I'm wrong. It was complete. Watseka crowd getting fired up once again.
That's all right, second quarter here, a lot of football left to play, it's good to have your crowds in football games, but it's also good for the Panther defense right here to do another good job of pursuing people, staying focused, forcing a 3-and-out.
You know what, Jay, that's a great point, as you brought up back here. The defense just have to gut up and stop them. And Blair's going to get around the right side. And he's going to be brought down at the 15-yard line. Good run by Austin Blair. We had been stopping him. Maybe he is definitely a great running back. There is no doubt about that. But tonight, that is definitely one of the keys to stop Austin Blair. And we were doing that a little early, but as he breaks out for a couple big runs, we can see that. There are always times we're going to stop him, or he's just going to get out and break for a big run.
Absolutely. Right there, you see the offensive line for Watika does a decent job, but we still have a couple people from our defense pursuing that play. Austin Blair did a great job of making a defender miss, turning it into a big play.
I think the inside may not work for Watika, but the outside definitely will. And Blair, once again, he's going to get down inside the 5-yard line, probably about a 12-yard gain. Austin Blair, one of those guys who has foot speed, power. He's going to run the ball hard every time. He always has. Last year, the year before that, This kid's a good player. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely, and Watika is doing a decent job of marching down the field here as they're inside 5 yards. The Panthers really need to buckle down now and get a stop. We'll definitely, as we've seen, Watika won't kick field goals. So we'll need to make one more stop than the usual defense will have to.
There's no doubt about that. Maybe a little turnover might help us out here. Let's see what happens. DePatis at the controls. Looks like we jumped off sides. Little anxious there. Encroachment on the Panthers. Little excited there. Kind of like the black lab on the first day of pheasant hunting season, pulling at the chain.
Absolutely. Like we said, the Panther defense really needs to buckle down, get some energy going here, but at the same time, you need to keep your composure, stay disciplined. That's an unnecessary penalty right there.
Yes, definitely, especially how close we are to the end zone. 10 seconds on the play clock. We're winding down. DePatis at the controls. I formation, Blair back at running back. Hands off to Blair, but he's going to be stopped just short of the end zone. 2nd and 1 from the 1 yard line. This is where the Panthers need to build a stone wall.
Absolutely.
Like off the movie Facing Giants, and just stop them.
Absolutely. Like we talked about our linebackers right there. They did a great job. Trent Wooden did a great job of slanting in, and defensive lineman did a great job of taking on that blocker, possibly pushing the other side, opening a hole for Trent Wooden to come in and make a tackle.
Hand off. Scratch. Dalton to pass on the quarterback sneak. He's going to sneak in there for a Watseka touchdown. Last year's game against Watika is almost very similar. A couple miscues don't do you any good. But still, 3 quarters left to play. Panthers still have enough time. They're only down 14 points. A lot can happen in that time.
Right, exactly. A drive like that, you got to give Watika credit there. We did a good job of our offense doing a good last drive, long, methodical, lots of plays, good chunks of yards. Watika had a little bit of life sucked out of them as a team, momentum possibly, but they did a good job right there responding with a score.
And the field goal is good. As we talked about earlier, not many field goals kicked by Watika, but I guess evidently we're seeing that tonight. The score is 21-6. We will be back with Panther football here on IHSA TV. And we're back here at Blake Field. Watseka, Illinois. Your score is Watseka Warriors 21 and the PBL Panthers 6. Previously scored Dalton DePatis 1 yard QB sneak. And as we've seen, this is the 3rd time the guy from Watseka has kicked off. He's got a serious boot. And it's going to be high and deep. The 4th one tonight. Schroet will return this one. It's almost like they've been kicking away from him. And he's going to be brought down by a host of defenders. Out to about the 22, 23-yard line. As the Panther offense comes out, we really need to score here, Jay. This is so big right here. We need to score. But you know what? There's still half football left to play. If we don't score here, we need to stop, and we just need to go into halftime with our heads held high.
Absolutely. Like we've been saying again and again, long, methodical drives. Like we say, 4 or 5 yards, good chunks of yards every time. As we had seen with our last offensive drive, it resulted in a score. That's all we need to do. We need to avoid trying to, as coaches say, be heroes, making big plays. It's good to do when it's available, but when it's not, we need to do a good job of staying on the plan, gaining good yards off the run. That includes Jesse Housel, Schroet.
Schroet with a great run, about a 15 to 20-yard gain on the play. One man to beat. How big of a difference that makes. One guy. Drew Schroet breaks that tackle. He's gone. There's no doubt about it. He's incredible foot speed. There's no doubt about it. But a good open field tackle by Watseka. Good run by Drew Schroet. All in all, a great play by both teams. Weber under center. Takes a snap. Hand off to Houtzel right at the shoot. Good gain. You know what? Nothing more you can ask of. The offensive line made a great push. It looked like to be a fullback dive there. Gain of about 3 or 4 yards. 5 yards, actually. 2nd and 5. That's all you need, Jay. Weisenbarn will take a break here. Looks like Tim Keir's going to come in at the 4-back. Weber at the controls. He takes the snap, hand off to Schroeder on the left side. Gain of about 3-4 yards. Once again, another good open field tackle by Watseka. They have been they work on that in practice.
Not only Watseka right there. Schroeder did a good job of getting outside, but right there, a good defensive play by none other than Austin Blair, who looks like he's playing both sides of the football this evening. Not only is he a good runner, but he did a good job of pursuing that play as a linebacker on defense as well.
Yeah, that kid's definitely an animal. Weber under center. He's got Weisenbarn out there now, wing back. Not to his right as receiver. Hand off to Houtzel right up the middle, but he's going to be brought back. It's going to be very close to a first down. We may need the chains here. And the chain gang will come out to make sure if it is a first down or not. It's going to be really close here. Oh, it's just short. Probably about really close. 4 or 5, maybe half an inch.
Right there, and like we said, a very short distance, I'm anxious to see what the Panthers are going to do here, whether they're going to see if they can gut up here, the offensive line, get a good push, or if Coach Graham will elect to punt.
That is definitely a big decision with the Panthers down by 15, and it looks like Weber is going to come out with a play. Let's see what play they decide to run as they go for it on 4th and inches. This is a huge play, folks. It could be momentum turner from both sides, either way. But PBL has been showing some strong signs tonight. Let's see what's happening.
Right in front of our crowd here as they start to pick it up and get nice and loud.
And Weber wants a timeout. I don't know why. There was 10 seconds left in the play clock. Maybe they were confused on the snap count. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe even confused, but it almost seemed as if Weber started barking out loud signals, trying to get the Watika defense to maybe jump off sides to force a first down. But see, as it didn't work, that possibly forced Weber to call a timeout.
That is definitely a good point, Jay. That's great thinking right there. We have a timeout. PBL. We'll take a break, and we'll come back with you at 4th and inches. You're watching Panther football on IHSA TV. And we're back here at Blake Field in Watseka, Illinois. Weber, it's going to be a QB sneak. It's going to be very close to first down. He should get it. I hope he does. That'll be enough for a Panther first down. Just a simple QB sneak, as we saw a lot from last week. Keaton Zirkle and the Iroquois West Raiders, all they did. A lot of time They just run the ball right up the middle with the quarterback.
No, I'll tell you right there, Weston Weber, a hard-nosed football player. On 4th and 1, you probably, as most teams, would like to have a quarterback sneak. But I'm sure, as Weber talked to Coach Graham, I'll bet he called his own number, as Weber has great determination on this football team. It runs hard, keeps his feet moving, and as we see there, results in a first down.
Exactly, Jay. Like we said, long, methodical drives, big key in this game. Hand off to Schroet around the right side. He cuts inside, and he's going to get a pretty good gain out of this. 7-8 yards. I'll take that any day.
Like the WPXN team here is saying next to us, our offensive line doing a great job kicking people down, and not only kicking people out, but chipping up to secondary defenders, getting them out of the way as well. But as we saw there, Watika's tackling is very good this evening.
Open field all the way. Weber at the controls. Takes a snap. Hand off to Houtzel right up the chute. Oh, he trips. Still, positive gain. A positive gain is a positive gain.
Houtzel caught the ball there looking for a hole, but it almost seems as he had to stutter step, maybe like, I don't know what you say, slide to one side, and that caused the defense to close that hole on him.
It's going to bring us very close to the first down marker. 3rd and 2 for the Panthers. Weber under center. He's going to take the snap, hand off to Schroet on the halfback dive. Brought down by a host of Warriors. Very close to a first down. Maybe no gain there?
No gain there. I don't know if it was, I couldn't really see from back here, but I don't know if it was just a breakdown of the offensive line or, again, like we've been going back to, a good play by the Watika defense. You have to give them credit. Our offensive line may be working hard, but at the same time, Watika players possibly outworking them. That could be a conversation at halftime for Coach Graham. We can't get outworked against the Watika football team.
Yes. Run around the outside. Schroet is going to get enough for a Panther first down. Good call by Coach Niebuhr there. Panthers, long drives as we near the end of the second quarter with 4:57 left to play.
Right there, like we'd said, our offensive line may have been breaking down, but it's good to see that that not only our players in general, but our coaches right there. Great call by Coach Niebuhr, Good call as an offensive coordinator. Also, good job by all the coaches having faith in that offensive line. That's a big key. We got to believe in each other.
And we're back here at Blake Field in Watseka, Illinois. Panthers have a first down, looking to move the ball as they cross the 50-yard line just moments ago. Weber at the controls. Takes a snap, hand off to Schroet. Schroet around the right side. He's going to gain a good, but wait a minute, I guess ball picked up by Watseka. And he's going to get around the outside. It's going to be Austin Blair. And he's going to be enough close. Not enough for a touchdown. Looked like a block in the back on Weisenbarn. And this is not good, folks. Watseka with the ball. First down, Watseka. And their crowd is fired up, and as well as their team.
That was a very unusual play. From over here, it almost looked as if Schroet was down. But you never know. You never can know from opposite side of the field.
The defense won on the field for PBL. Delay of game, it looks like. No, maybe not. Sorry, folks. Illegal substitution on Watseka. A bit of a break for us. You know, that's not bad. Maybe something big happens here in the next play. We'll see. As Jay and I have been talking about, Watseka just has been getting breaks. Maybe 4th fumble tonight. And it's not necessarily interceptions. It's just fumbles. Maybe we can get a break of our own and get something going here. We need a big stop, like we've been talking about all night long.
Absolutely. I mean, under 5 minutes here to go in the first half. If the Panthers aren't going to score offensively, we need to hold Watseka right here.
DePatis back to pass. Oh, he drops it. Yep, he dropped it. Sets up 2nd and 15 for Watseka. Little break right there. Small victories. Just what you need in a game like this, down by 15 with 4:35 left to play in the first half. DePatis at the controls. Big stop from D. Here's what we need. And the Panthers jumped. Looked like nose tackle. Flinched a little bit. Need to get a big stop here.
Once again, the WPX 10 team over here, Rocky Marin, hitting it right on the nose. That's an unnecessary penalty. That cannot happen inside the 30-20. I mean, inside scoring position for Watika, as they've shown they can take advantage of turnovers this evening.
No, there's no doubt about that. Pitch around the outside, and he's going to get out around Von Gensler. Very close to a touchdown. But we have some laundry on the field. Holding on Watseka. Wow, folks. We're catching some breaks here. Small victories, like I said before.
Right there.
Help you out a lot.
Right there. Watseka making a mistake is, they had a pretty good play, did a good job of blocking the Panther defense, but someone in that Watseka huddle right here on this next play call will not be very fond of the other teammates as taking away a touchdown there for the Watika Warriors.
Definitely. Yeah. There's no doubt about that. I mean, a team like Watika, you're up by 15. You're looking up to come you're looking to come up by 22 with some serious momentum going in the second half. But a big break for PBL, a holding call. I can't express about how big of a break that is for PBL. DePatis under center. He's got Blair back at running back. He's a fake. He's going to roll out. Looking like Juice Williams right there. He's going to be brought down. We have a player down out on the field, rolling around a little bit. We're going to have an official timeout here. Looks like Jordan Anderson. Yep, I think so. We'll take an injury timeout here, folks. You're watching Panther football on NHSA TV. And we're happy to tell you that Jordan Anderson is just fine. He walked out on his own power. DePatis in the shotgun formation. Handoff. No handoff, but he's going to DePatis call his own number there. Brought down behind the line. That's going to be at least a loss of 10 yards, folks. Great defense from the Panthers. Just what we need right there. And we need a big stop right here.
And like we said, under 5 minutes here, approaching 3:30 mark. If the Panthers weren't going to score, that's exactly what they needed to do. They needed a good defensive stop.
No doubt about that, Jay. As we said before, Jordan Anderson walked off the field on his own power. I really don't know if he's doing all right or not. But we'll get back to the game. Trips right. Watseka, DePatis takes a snap. He's back to pass. Throws it up there. It's deflected. I don't see any laundry, and the ref is going to say it's incomplete. Big stop there for the Panthers. Just what we needed.
Absolutely. Once again, not only do you see Weston Weber leading on the offensive side of the football, but that's something we've seen all year. Quarterbacks that throw toward Weston Weber when he's on defense do not complete many passes.
Yeah, like we said last week, Weber has been doing a great job of covering his receivers. I tell you what, Weston Weber is a good defensive back. He does a great job covering you. Gives you no room at all.
It's a scary word we always talk about. That is the potential that this Panther defense has and can be, right there. But anyway, now we'll see if the Panthers can conquer this fairly. Watika defense has been playing really well.
We're going to have some more laundry on the field here, folks. The play looks to be called back. Probably holding. And it is holding against the Panthers.
Never good to see a flag in the backfield when you're on the offensive side of the football.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing you don't want to happen. A gain like that, 15 yards, gets called back because of a holding penalty. We got to pick ourselves up right here, folks. We got to come back. We got to have a good play, and we got to gain some yards out of this. Weber comes out with the play. It's 1st and 19. Ball on the 19. Weber under center, takes a snap, hands off. Nope, he's back to pass. Short down the right side, he's open on the wheel route. He gets down the right side. He will not go all the way, but he gets down to the 25-yard line. I tell you what, folks, the wheel route is very effective, especially in football these days. It fakes out a lot of people, especially the defense.
Absolutely, and you see right there, we talked about the PBL Panthers having to conquer this Watika defense that's been playing really well. Now, with all that happening and Weber making a great pass, how about what we talked about? We got to give a lot of credit to our offensive line, holding a huge line up front, giving Weber plenty of time to roll out left and make a pass all the way across the field.
That's definitely one of the toughest throws to make. This week in practice, we were going over wheel routes. Those are good routes, folks. It definitely fakes out the defense. A running back usually gets open on a play like that. And that's gonna be a huge gain for the Panthers. Drew Schroed, nice catch right there. Perfect pass, right on the money. Laid it right into just perfect spot.
I'm all about premier players. I'm like any other fan of football. I like to see big plays, but what do we always say? Starts up front. I'm one of those guys that likes to see big plays, but I also, at the same time, I feel like you have to give credit to that offensive line. Right there, they did a great job.
Yes, definitely, Jay. The offensive line has done a great job, especially on this drive so far. The drives past. They've been doing a pretty good job. That was some great blocks. They've been doing just a great play overall. It starts and ends with the line. You can say it starts and ends with the quarterback. It also starts and ends with the guy who gets the ball.
Absolutely. And the Panthers will trot back on here just at about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Hey, looking for that big score we need right here.
Definitely.
Hey, again, Watika defense has been pretty good. When we have crossed over into our own territory, they've been pretty good at stopping us. We need to capitalize.
Drew gets around the outside on the quick pitch. It's going to be very close to a first down. second down and 2. Still, good gain. I mean, like we said, Jay, the Panthers do a great job of just taking their time, moving the ball down the field gradually, wearing the defense down, making them work, making them stop us.
Absolutely. I mean, right there, we
Drew gets around the outside.
right there on that last play prior to this one, we had seen, once again, an example of the incredible foot speed and athleticism projected by both running backs here this evening.
Yes, definitely, Jay. Austin Blair, the coach's poll All-Stater, Drew Schroed, probably could be a former future All-Stater. We got the battle of the running backs tonight. We can pretty much say that. Put it that way. Weber at the controls at the 4-yard line. This is a huge momentum breaker here, folks. Hansel right at the shoot. He trucks him into the end zone. Touchdown, Panthers. I tell you what, Jesse Hansel. He is a manimal. I tell you what, that right now, folks, he just runs you over. If you are in his way, just get off the tracks. The freight train is coming. And the swinging gate will come into action. Jonah Wilson will attempt to kick this extra point as the Panthers cut the lead into 9, hopefully into 8. And the kick is up, and it's good. Perfect kick. I tell you what, Jonah Wilson, a young rising star in this area. His name will be known. I guarantee it. He's got a boot, folks. Perfect form. And the Panthers cut it into 8.
Right there, I mean, first quarter, a lot of Watika. Watika gained a lot of momentum. We did a good job of stopping them, although they did get a few more scores than we probably would have liked. But, hey, second quarter was ours. We did a good job, like we said, having long, methodical drives there. Another score right there. Jesse Housen once again putting his head down, making a lot of plays for the Panthers.
Yes, we can sit here and say coulda, shoulda, woulda. But you know what, Jay? We have answered. We have stayed in this game. We are only down 8. And, heck, there's a minute 19 left. A lot can happen in a minute 19, especially in football. Anything can happen.
Absolutely. That's a huge, with that statement of a minute 19 left, huge, huge drive by the Panthers. That is exactly what we needed to stay in this game. We needed a score.
Definitely, Jay. Second period, minute 19 left to play. Score stands at Watseka 21, PBL 13. Jesse Hansel just scored on a big run right up the chute. Jonah Wilson attempted the extra point, and it was good. Jonah Wilson will come away with a kick. Another pooch kick. And he's tripped up. Good tackle. And the defense will in the field. And we got some laundry in the field. Apparently, I would imagine maybe personal foul. Looks to be unsportsmanlike conduct on Watseka. Thank you, Mr. Ronnie.
A good job by the Panthers there, keeping their head, not responding to a very good senior linebacker in Brock Myers for the Watika Warriors. I know Brock. I've played baseball with him during the summer, and great kid. But, a lot of things can change for any team, any athlete on the field in the heat of competition. Right there he gets caught up in probably an unnecessary penalty. That'll benefit our team.
Yeah, wrong place at the wrong time. It happens like that a lot. You just got to keep your head cool. You got to think about what not to do in those type of situations. That's definitely huge. That's a 15-yard penalty, Jay. It takes you back 15 yards. Twins right is Watseka's formation. Blair back at the running back. Pitch out to the outside. Schroed turns it back. Oh, man, he gets right up the middle. And it's going to be a big gain for the Warriors. Gaining
right
back
there, we talk about the PBL offensive line executing. We do play a visiting team, and they do have a plan too. And right there, they did a good job executing that plan.
We're winding down to a minute left in this first half. We need a big stop here, folks. Have some momentum going into the second half and just stop them right here. Need to gut up and need to stop them right here. Make a big statement.
Right there, that last play, Austin Blair, big play. I don't mind us giving up yards, but we need to prevent the big play.
There goes Blair. He could go all the way. Hauled down by Jesse Houtsel. Saving play. Well, I tell you what, folks. There's really nothing else to it. Opposite play ran to the opposite side. Excuse me, same play to the opposite side.
Right there, although we didn't do our job of preventing the big play. Hey, got to give credit to, once again, the defensive leader on this team. Josh Hopkins running Austin Blair down and making a touchdown-saving tackle.
Well, I'll tell you what, folks. There's been a lot of laundry on the field tonight, and it's pretty much Watseka every time. The run will be called back. All the way back.
It seems as if another unnecessary roughness put on the Watika Warriors. I really don't understand what's going through their heads right now. I'm not trying to bash on the Watika Warriors here, but any football team, and it's not very smart to be getting penalties against your team when your all-state running back does everything he can to put you on the 1 yard line.
Oh, without a doubt. A guy like that, he's a good runner. He gets you all the way down on the 1 yard line.
Creates big plays.
Exactly. He's just a playmaker. He makes the plays, and then you get all the way down on the 1 yard line. You're about to score. You're about to go up 15, going in the second half with some serious momentum with 35 seconds left, and you get called back because of a penalty. Simple things like that. Small victories for the Panthers. Big, huge breaks. I'm telling you right now here, folks. We need to shut them down and stop them right here. This is huge going into the second half. And we're back here at Blake Field in Watseka, Illinois. You're watching IHSA football. PBL Panthers against Watseka Warriors here on IHSA TV. Warriors hold a steady lead of 8 points as we end the near of the first half.
As we saw right there on the last play.
And a huge sack from Trent Wooten and Drew Schroet, creating pressure all season long so far. Woo! I tell you what, that's a serious play right there. Big play. Jay.
Like we had talked about capitalizing on mishaps, and not only have the Watseka Warriors capitalized on our penalties and turnovers, but right there, Panthers show that they can capitalize on a mishap as in a unsportsmanlike conduct that pushed the Watseka Warriors back.
See, things like penalties result in those kind of plays. Momentum changers. Panthers sacked him. It's going to be a loss of 4 yards. 2nd and 14 for the Warriors. A 2nd and 10 turns into a 2nd and 14 in the matter of just 30 seconds, folks. This is huge. We need another big play from the Panther defense. Nick Heisler, Jacob Meyer, Reno Jamison, Drew Schroet, Will Bowen, who's ever out there, this has got to make a big play. Will McClure, Jesse Houtsel, Josh Hopkins, who made a big play last week. We need to see something big right here. Someone's got to step up, gut up, and come in and make a huge play for the Panthers. Pettis and controls, pitch out to Blair. Pretty decent gain. As we've seen all night long from Blair, he's just running rough shot right through us. But you know what? We're making. I think Coach McCoy will make some adjustments at halftime, and we'll take care of business. And DePatis will spike it. 8.6 left on the clock. This is a tricky situation. Do you go for the Hail Mary? Do you try to kick it, which would be kind of nutty, I think, but I don't think Coach Steve Lucas over there on the Watika sideline is going to kick a field goal that long. There's just no way it's going to happen. They're going to pass it. There's just no doubt about it. Or they're going to give it to Blair and see what he does. I mean, he can do anything. I mean, Blair's going to do something if you give him the ball.
And exactly. With the options you just presented to me that Watika has, the PBL Panthers, no matter what defense, no matter what play called by Coach McCoy, we got to be ready for anything. We have to do everything in our power to prevent any type of big play here with under 10 seconds to go in the half.
And Watseka will get a delay of game. They just simply ran out of time. I don't know what they were doing exactly. They spike it, and then they decide they're just going to let the clock run out, except it wasn't running, though. They just got a delay of game. 4th and 15 for the Warriors. They sprint up to the line. Something weird here. DePatis under center. Man in motion. Pitch around. It's going to be a pass. It's deep. Oh, off the face mask of Schroet. But you know what, folks? That's fine. That just stopped the clock. The clock didn't run. That play didn't last a second, though. That's the thing.
That's really unusual. There was 8.6 seconds when the ball was snapped, and it almost seemed as if the clock wasn't started, as it reads 7.5 seconds here. Very unusual. But with that being said, Panthers do a good job of deflecting that. Almost trick play, you can say. Josh Hopkins did a great job in coverage there. As Panthers will take over for one more play, possibly the home run here. Huh, Peyton?
I don't think there's a chance of that because all the players are running out on the field, Jay. But you know what? That would have been pretty funny to see. I think it would be pretty cool to see us just launch it down the field. And that is the end of the second quarter. We're at halftime. Watseka is leading the PBL Panthers 21-13. We will be back in a couple minutes with the halftime show. You are watching PBL football on IHSA TV. And welcome back here to Blake Field in Watseka, Illinois. Jay Eshman and I will be bringing you the second half. We did promise you a halftime show, but we got caught in the back of the concession stand line. Sorry about the confusion there, folks, if you were expecting a halftime show. Starting out the half, PBO will be on defense, and Jonah Wilson's back to kick. Back to receive for the Warriors. Looks like they're pulled in a little bit. Expecting a short kick, I guess. And Wilson, a good kick right to the Watseka returner. He's going to get around the outside. He has some room to run, folks, and he's going to be brought down. Brings it out to the 35-yard line. From there on, Watseka will have the ball and try to score.
You know, it's almost, everybody has bad nights, and it almost seemed as if Jonah was having a bit of a bad night there. His first couple kickoffs, I don't know if it was intentional or unintentional, but were pooched a little bit. They weren't kicked as far, but he did a good job of getting a lot of the ball there. Good kickoff.
Yeah, it's definitely Jonah Wilson. Good kick there. I don't know. Like you said, Jay, I don't know if those were pooch kicks or not. And hand off to Blair. He's going to be brought down by Will McClure. His second tackle of the night. You know, great fakes by Watseka. Two guys were brought down. Kidwell first, then DePatis. I mean, it's hard to announce a game like that when you got guys bringing down guys on fakes. I mean, I can't say how great of a fake that is.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to give Austin Blair credit too. I mean, I think that play was designed to be an up-the-middle run, but he did a great job of bouncing that outside. Once again, I mean, probably only a play that an all-state running back can make. That's an unteachable talent.
End of the game, Jake Stevenson. Blair will get around the outside. Oh, he's going to be brought down. Swarmed by PBL defenders. Last week, like I said, J2 talked about how important swarming and tackling is. It's so big because I think the difference from this year's team to the past couple years' teams, instead of watching like the defense, one guy goes up, makes a tackle. Everyone else on the defense stands back and watch. You know, okay, he's got the tackle. And then the guy breaks free and scores. This year, we're swarming and tackling. We're bringing guys down, and that's not happening, evidently. DePatis, under center. He's going to roll out to pass. Trent Wooten's going to and he's going to bring him down. Oh! And Will McClure and Trent Wooten there, the connection. And wow, DePatis. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
Now, right there, I mean, we talked about the PBL defensive line occupying the offensive line. And right there, once again, our linebackers did a great job. I mean, when you see Will McClure coming at you, you don't think much. But then when he hits you, oh, you really feel it.
Yeah, there's definitely some truth in there. Big play right there from the Panthers. 4th and 7. We need a big stop here. Actually, they're going to punt. The punt is high. It's really high, folks. This is a bomb. And it's going to take a Panther bounce in our favor. Great stop by the defense to start this second half. A huge statement saying to the Watseka offense, we're not going to give up. We're going to be relentless. We're not going to be passive, and we're just going to come at you. We're going to tackle you. We're going to swarm. We're going to bring you down, and there's no way, nothing else to it.
Absolutely. PBL comes out making a statement like you said, and now we're going to see how the Watseka defense responds.
Yes, definitely to a big stop. Let's see if the offense brings some intensity onto the field and starts getting really after it. Weber at the controls. 1st and 10 Panthers, 12 seconds on the play clock. Weber takes the snap, hand off to Schroeder on the right side. He's going to, he stiffs arm, but number 11 brings him down. Good open field tackle. You know, like in the first half, Watseka evidently showed they have some athleticism on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to bring you down They make good open field tackles, don't they, Jay?
I mean, absolutely. Right there. I mean, not only does Drew Schroed have unteachable cutting ability, but right there, he has the ability. He's strong enough. He puts a stiff arm in your face mask. There are not many cornerbacks making that tackle, but right there, the cornerback does a good job of basically just holding on. When it comes to that point, tackling an all-area back like Drew Schroed, I mean, there's really no fundamental way to do it. You just got to get the job done.
Exactly. Hand off to Housel right up the chute. Brought down by Blair. Gain of 3 on the play. Still a positive gain. 3rd and 4. Jay, now this is one of those things. Early third quarter. Do you pass? Do you run? If you pass, you take the risk. You get a big gain. But you also take the risk of incompleting it, and then you have to punt the ball.
Yeah, I mean, like you're saying, some people don't realize some of the decisions coaches have to make, I mean, it's not as if we don't trust our plan as a team or as a coach, but you're almost asking yourself, do we need to make adjustments? Is there a better way I can put my team in the position to win? And that's really one of the tough jobs that people don't realize coaches have.
Yes, I can't disagree with that, Jay. And as Weston Weber tried to roll out, probably a boot run, I would say.
Right there, I mean, we talked about how the PBL defense did a good job of coming out and playing hard-nosed, good football. Right there, like we said, Watika defense responded.
We're going to have a fake here. Schroed, he's going to get around the outside. Should be enough for a first down. Woo! I tell you what, it kind of looks similar to that play that Watseka ran earlier. It's like Coach Jeff Graham saying, hey, I can do what you guys can do. I mean, it's a lot. I'm seeing a lot of interesting things in this football game, Jay. I mean, you don't see a lot of big punts, especially in high school football.
I mean, every once in a while you see in the game of football, period, like we go back to the Bears-Packers game last night, fake field goals. Now we're seeing it in football games, or high school football games as well. Could that be a part of the game that maybe revolutionizes this game, period? I mean, you never know.
Yes, definitely, because like we said, in football, you can't take plays off.
Absolutely.
You can't. If you take a play off, from an NFL football, college football, high school football, I mean, you can't do that because the team is going to do something unexpected. Like off the movie The Perfect Game, the unexpected play at the unexpected time. A lot of things will surprise you. You got to be ready for the unexpected play.
Absolutely.
Weber under controls. 2nd and 7. Hand off to Schroeder on the right side. He's going to get around. He's going to gain. Oh, he's going to keep going. Stiff arm guy is going to get around the outside. And a huge gain for the Panthers. All the way down to about the 25-yard line. He stiff-armed one guy and just went past the next.
Absolutely. I mean, right there we talk about both offensive lines for both teams having to execute tonight. And once again, our offensive line did a great job of blocking people down. But once again, I mean, we go back to the athleticism of the running backs that they've showed tonight. Drew Schroed creating plays. I'll tell you one thing he has really improved on by hitting the weight room. His yards after contact have really improved this season.
There's no doubt about that, Jay. Oh. Ball fake. Looked to be a pass. Didn't get anywhere on that. It's going to actually be a loss. Maybe 5 yards.
Although it's not that big of a devastating blow, it's always something you want to avoid as the offensive team. I mean, we just came off a big play momentum going. We got a 1st and 10. And like we said, a tough decision by coaches. Do we pass? Probably the right decision there. Offensive line, got to execute. At the same time, we give the offensive line a lot of credit. They do have a tough job, but they got to be consistent.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, Jay. I definitely agree with you on that one. Weber at the controls. Takes the snap, pitch out to Schroed. Schroed, he's going to be brought down. That might be a loss, a yard or two. I don't know. Things like, early on, it seemed that Watseka really didn't make that many adjustments. Okay, maybe they didn't have to. That's the thing. Maybe they've been prepared. Maybe these last 2 plays, sack, a loss on a run, just kind of bring you down a little bit, dampen the mood. We need a big, huge play right here from the Panthers.
Absolutely.
Get us going.
I mean, absolutely. You know, the offensive line probably did a good job of kicking people in right there, but if you see closely, Weber's pitch was a little bit behind Schroed, and even in fast-paced games like this, I mean, that could be enough to affect
Weber
a run.
back to pass. He's going to run. He has some room. Runs over a guy. I don't know if he had anybody open or not. He decided he's going to run, which is not a bad decision. Kidwell brought him down. Gain of 10. Still a pretty good gain. 4th and 8. Let's see if the Panthers go for it. Here, about halfway through the third quarter, actually 4 minutes left to play.
We're going to send Jonah Wilson onto the field here. Possible field goal attempt here. This is definitely a vital asset to a high school football team.
If you have a guy who can come out and kick like this, we just need to see him prove it right here. But you just got to believe in a kid like this. He can do it. I know he can. The kick is up. It's high enough. It's deep enough. Oh, just short. Oh, man, I tell you what, not a bad decision. You know, that shows me one thing that Coach Niebuhr, Coach Graham, Coach Coy have in the kid like Jonah Wilson, that he can kick from that distance. You know what? He's just short. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hey, sophomore. Like we said, he got 2 years left. A lot of time to hit the weight room, a lot of time to get better. I know. I've seen this kid's worth ethic. I think he'll definitely get there.
You know, he missed it. There's nothing wrong with that. It was a good decision, I think. I can't say I'm not going to disagree with that. Jonah Wilson's got a great boot. It was a good attempt. DePatis at the controls. Hands it off, and he's going to be brought down behind the line. Ooh! Someone just came up and absolutely just smothered him to pieces. I'll tell you that right now.
I'll tell you what, I mean, both teams' defenses have come out and played really well. I mean, I don't know what both coaches said at halftime, but whatever it was, it must have worked.
Definitely, Jay. You're definitely right here. I mean, a host of defenders, the line. I mean, everyone is just doing a good job right now for the Panthers. We need to keep it going. Maybe even force some turnovers. Let's see what happens here. We need a big play here from the Panthers, as they have shown they can do it. DePatis at the controls under center. Takes the snap, hand off to Blair. Blair is going to be brought down. Saving tackle by Will McClure. Will McClure, I'll tell you what right now, he's been doing a good job tonight, bringing guys down. That is a great open field tackle right there.
Absolutely. I mean, once again, I feel like we're repeating ourselves here, but the key to the game, linebackers had to be good. And tonight, Will McClure has showed up to play. He's done a good job of pursuing people, and a great thing that he has picked up on this year, he finishes his tackles. He drives through people.
Yes, that's definitely what we needed tonight from the linebackers. We need to keep it going, and we need to get them stopped right here. 3rd and 5 for the Warriors. DePatis at the controls. He takes a snap, pitch out. He's going to get around the outside. Oh, he's going to be brought down. Almost pretty much thrown to the ground. Looks like Schroet brought him down. Good tackle. It's going to be very close to a first down, folks. 4th and 3. Gain of 2 on the play. We need a huge play right here from the Panthers. 4th and 3. It almost seems like Watika is going to punt here. Josh Hopkins will be back to return.
Absolutely. If Watika didn't punt, I mean, you know, that brings us to our next thing. I mean, I don't know about you, Peyton. You can draw up any scheme you want, but on 4th downs that people go for, I mean, it's pretty much man-on-man, one-on-one. You got to beat the man across from him.
One thing to watch out here is a fake punt. They ran one earlier like the direct snap, but I guess not. He's actually punted this time. It's a very little low, like a rugby punt, I should say, folks. Like looking like Evan Langford out there. Good field position for the Panthers. This is what we need right here, Jay. A big play, a big drive. Maybe, heck, like we've been doing all game, a long, methodical drive is just what we need right here.
Absolutely. You know, we talk about Coach Graham and the decisions he has to make. You know, been a very run-based game. You know, a question I have to ask you, Peyton, do you think you go to the air here? Maybe not. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, Jay, I'll tell you what. In the minute 22 left in the quarter, it's a big drive because this is going in the 4th quarter. The defense has made 2 critical stops. Weber at the controls. Hands off to Schroeder on the outside. They're containing that. Cuts him back to the inside. gain of about maybe 10 yards. Still, that's a good gain right there. Positive gain to start this drive.
Once again, I mean, I know there are other football games going around the area, and we're covering this one, but I mean, people are definitely getting their money's worth here, seeing the talent that these running backs from both teams bring to the table. I mean, right there, Schroet, pinned in the backfield. This is designed, run to the right. I mean, right side closes up, it makes an unbelievable cut. Once again, we talk about an unteachable talent.
Yeah, him and Austin Blair. I mean, you got to give some credit to Blair and Schroet tonight. They're both looking like all-staters tonight. They're running the ball real well. The fullback trap, Houtzel right at the middle, breaks about 3 tackles. See, the thing about that is, Watseka, you can't bring down guys like Jesse Houtzel, Drew Schroet, heck, Austin Kidwell, Weston Weber even.
Absolutely.
With arm tackles, you can't do that.
Absolutely, like we said. I mean, I'm sure other teams around the area have, but we did a good job this year. We had a great upbeat attitude. We hit the weight room hard, and it has showed. I mean, our backs, like that point I made earlier, our yards after contact from defensive players from the opposing team has been tremendous.
Fumble in the back fleet. It's still loose. It's flying around in there. I think it's Watika ball, folks. I don't know whose ball it is. They're unraveling them. Woo! It's kind of like I tell you what, that play. You got mixed feelings right there, folks. Makes me think of a quote from Bob Green. But I tell you what, right there. Weber went back to pass, I guess, and he dropped.
Player down on the field. Not sure who it is.
Looks to be a lineman.
Yeah, injury timeout. You know, we'll keep you updated as best we can, but we're probably going to take a break here as the trainers take a look.
And we're back here at Blake Field, Watseka, Illinois. Clock winds down at the end of the third quarter.
And we did have some confirmation on that injured player. It did look like Colton Eichelberger. And, I mean, if he can't return not only for this game but for the season, I mean, that could be a big blow to this Panther offensive line.
Yeah, it's definitely Colton Eichelberger, one of those guys who you cheer for. Because I'll tell you what right now, folks, he's been out. He was out last year, had a knee injury, kept him on the sidelines, comes back, works his butt off in the weight room, gets into a really big kid, and then the last thing you want to see, an injury, re-aggravating the same problem that he had last year. I mean, it's too bad to see. And guys like me and Jay just hate to see that thing kind of happen. As we start the fourth quarter here, the Panthers will have the ball. We will be back. You are watching Panther football on IHSA TV.
We're about to start the fourth quarter here. like we say, injury to Colt Nykelberger, something you never want to see. But, I mean, one thing that I do think Coach Graham and Coach McCoy have done is preparing the depth of this football team. They have done a great job of working with the second string as well.
And Schroed, the ball carrier. Not a bad game there as we start the fourth quarter. It's going to be 2nd and 5. A lot of 5-yard games. A lot of good things we're seeing tonight from the line. A lot of good things we're seeing from Schroed as well. We're going to have 20 seconds left on the play clock. 1:34 as the clock is running left in this fourth quarter and game. Ball is on the 38-yard line, and the Panthers are threatening here. Panthers sprint up to the line. Weber at the controls. Hand off to Schroed. He cuts it back inside, lowers his head, and he's going to gain enough. Should be enough for a first down. Scratch that. He gained about 3 yards. It's going to be 3rd and 3 on the 36-yard line. Big play here. Let's see what happens. 10:50 running down as in this game. Wooten out to the left. Weisenbarnen out wing back. Schroed at the 3-back. And Hansel at the fullback. Hand out to Schroed. Scratch that. It was a pitch. But it's going to be enough for a first down. You know what? I'll tell you what, folks. That's exactly what we need right there. Just keep the chains moving, and we got to keep going until we score. We got to score here. This is so big right here.
Absolutely on a 3rd or 4th and short right there. Offensive line, once again, got to give them credit. But, hey, who do you go to? None other than Drew Short right there. Once again, makes a great cut to get that first down.
We said passing game would need to be there tonight. It has been there a little bit tonight. Not as much as we'd like to see it as week goes on. But the running game, both sides of the ball, both teams, Watseka and PBL, running the ball very well. Handoff. Nope, not a handoff at all. That's going to be a strip. And Weber, I think, recovers it. I hope he does. Pretty much almost the same thing that happened early on in this game. Weber went back to pass. Got deflected, did the same thing there, but he gets the ball back this time.
I'll tell you one thing right there. I mean, not only in high school football, but in any football. I mean, recent movie, The Blind Side. Left tackles have a tremendously huge objective. I mean, quarterbacks can't see anything. That's their opposite side. Not only in the running game are they important, but also very important in the passing game.
See, something like that, like at the beginning of that movie when they show the clip of Joe Theismann getting tackled behind by Lawrence Taylor. Oh! Weber fumbles the snap. Still gains about 3 yards on it. Positive gain. Weber gets up a little slow. Gets up fine. He's walking around. Gain of 5 on the play. 3rd and 14. We need a big play here, folks.
Although Weber gets up under his own power, he looks a little slow there. Never know what you might see on this next play here.
Exactly, Jay. We are one of the biggest parts of the game. 8:41 left. Weber out at the controls. Handoff up the middle. Oh, and he's brought back. Gain of about 4 or 5. Snyder and Myers in on the tackle. And it looks like we're going to punt here, folks. Ball's on the 31-yard line. And we have a timeout here, folks. Called by PBL. We are at the 8-minute mark here, folks. 21-13, Watseka leads. I tell you what, this second half is breezing by. You're watching Panther football on IHSA TV. And we are back here at Blake Field in Watseka, Illinois. There is exactly 8 minutes left to play in this fourth quarter. Weber at the controls. Takes a snap. He's back to pass. He's got a receiver. Schroed's open! And he's brought down. Nice open field tackle again, like we said early on. That's going to be a 1st and 10 for the Panthers. Well, I tell you what. Schroed was just wide open. I mean, good things happen when you, in the wing T offense, when you apply the fakes. When you make good fakes, good things will happen.
Absolutely a good fake there, and I mean, there's really no other explanation. I mean, I'm short of words. Drew Schroed was wide open. There's nothing else to say.
Yeah, there was definitely no one near him. Schroed around the outside. He's going to cut back inside. He's gained about maybe 4 or 5 yards. Yeah, like Jay said before, Schroed was just wide open. The nearest defender was probably 6-7 feet. I mean, good things happen. I'll tell you that right now. Weber at the controls, takes the snap. Hand off to House around the middle. He chucks him. Oh my. You know, I tell you what, a lot of things just aren't really going our way, but in other words, they kind of are. Like early on, Drew Schroed does a good stiff arm. The guy still comes down with the tackle. Right there, Jesse Housel trucks him and still gets brought down.
The only man to beat makes the tackle, and you got to give Watika credit. I mean, they obviously are playing like they want to win.
You know what? I tell you what, Watika, they've been doing a pretty good job teaching these guys how to tackle. But I tell you what, you got to give the credit to PBL too. Coach McCoy has been doing a great job. The PBL defense has done a good job tonight. Hand off to Housel again. That should be enough for a first down. I don't think. Maybe he doesn't have enough. It's really close. Oh, it's about a foot. 4th and about a foot. Oh, man, this is really close, folks. 4th and about a foot. No one gets more nervous on the sidelines than anyone up in the stands. I'll tell you right now, this is a huge play.
Right here, Peyton. Like we said, one-on-one, who's tougher?
And Weber almost gets into the end zone. Very close. He bounced around a little bit. It almost looked like he was going to get brought down, but it's enough for a first down.
Almost looked as if we went back to a flashback maybe of a little bit of last year where we ran a bit of an option. Almost looked like the defensive line from Watika made a great play disrupting that. But once again, Weber, I mean, great football sense, cuts it back upfield. And once again, good things happen.
Maybe it looked like the read option there. Ball on the 2-yard line. 1st and 2 for the Panthers. We're in goal line formation. Weber at the controls. Takes a snap. Runs into his running back. He's going to keep going. And he gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Panthers. We have cut the lead into 2. And with 5 minutes and 13 seconds left to play, the Panthers are down just by 2. I tell you what, folks, you have gotten your money's worth. The fans who have showed up tonight have gotten their money's worth. This is a wonderful game, both played by each side. 5:13 left, 21-19. We're going to go for 2, folks. This is a huge play right here. I don't know if they're any bigger than this one. Handoff. He's rolling out to pass. He has no receiver. He's just going to run. Oh, and he's brought down behind the line. No one was open. Oh, man, this is still 5:13 left to play. The good thing is no clock was ran on that. I'm going to let you cool off for a couple minutes. You're watching Panther Football on IHSA TV.
hearing some scores coming in from around the area, as we just heard Moments leading St. Thomas More 50-8, Possible statement game there. And also, I don't know where the progress of the game has been since we last heard, but Clifton was leading St. Joseph Ogden 6-0.
Yes, both those games, key games in the conference tonight. Watseka beating St. Thomas More 24-21 last week. St. Thomas More, I bet, is probably having trouble with last year's another All-Stater in the conference running back, DeAndre Wright.
Absolutely, Peyton. He's a great player. But turn the attention back to this game. I just have to ask you another question. How vital is this defensive series for the Paxton-Buckley-Loda Panthers?
Bigger than any of them so far. Wilson, a good kick. The guy's going to get around the outside. He has some room to run. There he goes, folks. Jonah Wilson, almost last man to beat. Fumble! He fumbled the ball! Oh, it's Watseka's ball. Man, that was all of a sudden, I just thought it was a normal kick, and I see Jonah Wilson jump up and down like for some different reason, and I guess the guy fumbled the ball, but he recovered it. How big of a break would that have been for us? But I can't sit here and say coulda, shoulda, woulda. That's not a good thing to say. Anyways, DePatis at the controls. Hand off to Blair. He's brought down by Houtzel. 4:55. Still enough time, Jay.
Absolutely. I mean, like we said, very, very vital defensive series for the Panthers here. A 2-yard gain, we need to do a great job, just like Jesse Houtzel did right there, of filling his hole and making a tackle. Like we said, Austin Blair, great defensive player on both sides of the ball as well. Just another one. There's another example right there. Jesse Houtzel, hard-nosed football player.
DePatis under center. He takes a snap. He's rolling out. He's going to run by himself, looking like Juice Williams. Oh, man. He bounces around a little bit. That's going to be a first down. It's going to keep the ball moving and the clock.
We've seen a lot of rollout passing from Watika, but on that rollout right there, that was no rollout. That was a bootleg. He tucked the ball and had the mindset he was going all the way.
We have a Panther down on the far sideline. And I think it's Will Bowman, our middle linebacker, and I think our left tackle, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to take a break. You're watching IHSA Football on IHSA TV. And I think Bowman got up under his own power.
Yeah, injury to Will Bowman there. But like you said, got up under his own power, so it looks like we're good to go.
And he's walking off the field, led by Mr. Marco Bascolo, our physical trainer. Maybe just a cramp, I don't know. Tough game tonight for him. Pattis at the controls. 4 minutes left to play in the game. He's just going to run the ball. Run the clock down. Pattis takes a snap. Hands off to Blair. Blair's going to be brought down behind the line. Yes! Woo! That's a good stop right there by the PBL defense. They're just going to have to keep it up as we near 3.5 minutes left to play in this game.
Absolutely, a great play by the Panther defense there, but at the same time, a great play. That play right there keeps the clock running, and as we saw in that last play, the quarterback for Watseka. Let the play clock run down, probably a good strategy for the Watika Warriors.
Yes, definitely, Jay. I think we're just going to see a lot of that the rest of this game. 3:15 left to play. I'm not sure how many timeouts we have left. I think we have 2. DePatis takes a snap. Hands up. He's brought down. No, he's not. Oh, man, DePatis gets around. Still on speed. Oh, he's brought down by Jacob Meyer. Big hit there. Once again, another good fake. They're faking me out tonight, and I'm just standing up here in the press box with my partner, Jay Eshelman. I'm getting fooled.
I'll tell you one thing right there. Great play call by the Watika coaching staff. If I'm pretty sure if we rewind this replay, we had 4 or 5 people tackling Austin Blair. Problem is, he didn't have the ball.
Well, and there's a lot we could say here. We could say Blair's ran the ball a lot tonight. There's no doubt about that. You're expecting him to run the ball in this situation. All of a sudden, he fakes it, runs out. The base gets about a 10-yard gain on that, maybe even more. The pass out of controls. Hand off to Blair. And I tell you what, somebody just, the Panthers just, oh my, I'm speechless.
I'll tell you one thing right now, Peyton, not only are you speechless, but I am too. So much we have seen DePatis do these fake rollout passes, and this time there was one player who was not getting fooled, and that would be Drew Schroed. He met DePatis. DePatis turned around to something he did not want to see in his face.
That's one of those things. All of a sudden, 1 second, you're like, oh yeah, I'm just going to roll out of my fake, see what these guys do. Bam! Hello. How are you doing? Oh, man, I tell you what. Drew Schroed said, I'm not falling. I'll fall for your fake, but you're going to go down and you're going to get shaked up a little bit here. Oh, my gosh. That is awesome.
I'm speechless. I just want to jump out of my chair right now. I'm so excited. This is what Friday night high school conference football is about, right?
Oh, definitely, man. Big hits, big runs. Oh, geez, Jay. This is huge right here. Panthers down by 2. 2 minutes, 23 seconds left. 2nd and 12. We need a stop. Better yet, it'd be nice if we got a turnover. A lot of people just don't realize how big a game like this actually is. A statement game, it's a game on your schedule. Oh, hey, when October comes around, these guys beat Watseka. This team ended up winning 6 games.
Like we said earlier this evening, Watseka 3-0. Haven't played a home game yet. They are definitely coming out. They're going to have a big home crowd. I've heard their crowd travels well even to away games, so you know how much that's going to be multiplied at home games. And once again, Austin Blair, senior, obviously going to be playing his heart out in front of the home crowd, his first home game.
Without a doubt. The pass out of controls. That's a correct thing. They're trying to strip it from him. Bunch of guys in there. Jake Stevenson, Will McClure, Josh Hopkins, Jacob Meyer, Reno Jameson, Will Bowman. They're all in there trying to make the tackle. 3rd and 11. Gain of 1 on the play. We're nearing the end of this game, Jay. 1:50 left.
It almost seems it's going to... Yeah, Watseka is just going to look to run the clock down. Not much the Panthers can do, but... like we always say with all the NFL quarterbacks, I think Weston Weber's a very tough kid. I think he's up to the challenge. We'll see how good our PBL 2-minute drill is.
Exactly, Jay. DePatis at the controls. Hands off to Blair right at the shoot. No. I was faked out again. Hand off to Kidwell. And we're just swarming again. Yes, we are, folks. The clock will be stopped with 1:26. Once again, like Jay and I have been talking about for the last 2 weeks, swarming and tackling. 4th and 11. The Panthers will take their third and final timeout. When we come back, it'll be 4th and 11 for the Watika Warriors. Cool down and take a break. You're watching Panther football on IHSA TV. We're back here at Blake Field in Watseka, Illinois. Minute 26 left to play in this game. I'll tell you what, Jay. Good defensive stand by the Panthers, but they can't loosen up right here. You can't do it. You just can't.
Absolutely. 4th and 11, minute 26. What's Watika looking to do? They're looking to keep the clock moving as the Panthers used their last timeout.
Exactly. DePatis at the controls. This is probably the biggest play of the game. Handoff. He's back to pass. He's going to run. And he spins around a little bit, and he's brought down. He shouldn't have gotten the first down on that play, folks. 1st and 10 for the Panthers. We'll take on our own 19-yard line. Jay, this is what Kenny Chesney talks about in the song The Boys That Fall. High school football players living up the dream. This is it right here. This is where you make the play. This is where every kid sitting in the backyard dreams of every day. He throws the football around with his dad, his brothers. He wants to do this. A minute and 18 seconds.
Absolutely. Every competitor, what do we say in any sport? You leave it all on the line. You don't mind a moral victory playing well against the Watika team, but we would love to come out with a huge win right here.
This is it, folks. It all comes down to this right here. Everyone's nervous. They're looking at you to make the big play. It's like baseball. Everyone wants to step up to the plate with the bases loaded, 2 outs and a 3-2 count in the Game 7 of the World Series. This is against Watika. Second week of Sangamon Valley Conference play. Panthers are down by 2. This is where we make our statement here, folks. This is it right here. It all comes down to this. The final drive. What will happen? It's a big question mark right now everywhere in the town of Watseka, Illinois. Weber rolls out. He's back to pass. He's trying to run. He trips.
Right there, although the camera angle didn't show it, Weber had one-on-one coverage with Wooten downfield. Wooten's showing some athleticism as well. Probably can't take a sack to keep the clock moving. Probably really, really need to make a play.
Weber back to pass. He just has nowhere to go. He's going to get sacked. Oh, my. It's not looking too good, folks. I hate to be the non-optimistic person here. It's 3rd and 9 with 30 seconds left. Schroet throws it. It's intercepted by Dalton DePatis. And, folks, well, you heard a good one here tonight. I appreciate you listening to our broadcast. Well, there are good things we can come away with this. Confidence. I guarantee you there will be no one that comes back this week and works harder than these guys do. This is a tough loss.
Absolutely. Nothing much Weston can do there. You can't blame that on him. It almost seemed as if Watika barely had a down lineman. They had so many people drop back in coverage. Really no other option but to throw it up and hope. Basically a prayer. What do we talk about?
It's kind of like on Madden NFL. You do the man up 3 deep or you prevent. And that's pretty much what they did. When you know someone's going to pass, Evan's going to drop back into coverage. Well, folks, I appreciate you listening to us tonight. We might have a post-game show. We might not. There's 23 seconds left. And Dalton DePatis will take a knee, and that should end the game. Tonight, you watched a great one here, folks. The Panthers, well, let's just put it this way. They shouldn't walk away with their head down. They played a great game. There's no doubt about that. There's a few things they can work on, which I guarantee you Coach Jeff Graham will take care of. I appreciate you listening to this broadcast. We'll be back in a few minutes with the postgame on IHSA TV.
We adjusted to as quick. The last 3 quarters, which really doesn't matter in the whole. We just weren't ready to play.
And we're back here at Blake Field in Watseka, Illinois, tonight's matchup we broadcasted for you was the Watseka Warriors against the PBL Panthers. Watseka hosting in their first home game. The crowd, big crowd, obviously a good showing for them. But I thought it would make a big difference in this game, and I think it did, because early on they gained some momentum, they forced some turnovers, and they did some things that just got their crowd amped up. And
Absolutely. I mean, Watika had a great first quarter. I mean, anytime you can score twice in the first quarter of a high school football game, you're doing pretty good. And the one thing they did a great job of, they took advantage of the turnovers. We didn't think much of turnovers as a broadcast team tonight, Peyton, but as we saw in the first quarter, that did become a deciding factor. And when you turn the ball over within the other team's territory, most of the time when you play a team like Watika, they're going to take advantage, and that's exactly what they did.
Yes, you just explained it perfectly. I mean, capitalizing on errors by the other team. Any sport, it's so crucial. If you don't capitalize, it's important. That's one of the biggest things in football, especially, because turnovers, I mean, come a dime a dozen. It doesn't come around that much.
Absolutely. I mean, turnovers again, a factor. Penalties a factor. But, I mean, you hate to lose, but you almost take a moral victory away from this. Like you said it perfectly before the game was over. You're not going to see many teams that played harder than these two this evening.
Oh, without a doubt. And you're not going to see anybody come back this week and work harder than the PBL Panthers will, because I guarantee you that's going to motivate them. Because even though Watseka won on the scoreboard, I think we won eventually in the heart, because we're going to come back next Friday against a Gibson City team that's has struggled a little bit with some team injuries. I mean, I know they've been through 3 or 4 running backs already this season, but we're going to have to come out. We're going to have to give our best effort in that game, and definitely we're going to have to play a little better than we did in the first quarter, but which I think we can.
Absolutely. I mean, any sport we have here at PBL, or mostly any school for the most part, I mean, people that play sports are competitors, They hate to have moral victories, I mean, they want to win, Any competitor loves to win.
Without a doubt, Jay. I mean, everybody wants to win. Well,
Some stats here for you tonight. The Panthers had, I know the big stat for the Panthers, Weber was, like we said, we're going to pass the ball much. Weber was 2 of 3 for 66 yards. One of those, including, like you said, a wheel route to Schroeder down the right sideline. That was just a great ball, great ran route. And the other stat we had, Drew Schroeder had another very, very great game, as I think he had another 150-yard night.
Oh, without a doubt. Drew Schroeder played a great game. Weston Weber came out, showed some signs of passing. Good job tonight. I can't really say we can't really say that we lost this game. We came away with a moral victory. We played hard. We saw a lot of good things, especially from the defense in the second half, Jay. We held them scoreless.
Absolutely. I mean, like we said, we talked about fatigue. That was going to play a factor with both the teams running the football quite a bit in this matchup, and that's exactly what they did. I think both defenses, especially ours in general, I mean, we showed that we can compete. Such a big change from last year. I mean, we hate to bring up last year and all that stuff because we're by that. But like we said, fatigue played a factor. Both defenses played really focused. And like you said, held people scoreless. I mean, great job. Nothing you can ask for.
We did a really good job tonight. When they went up 14-0, did we drop our heads? Did we give up? No, we did not. We kept going. We kept pushing, and we wanted this game. This game was a huge game. And I tell you what, we didn't give up. We gave Watika a hard-fought football game. We held them scoreless in the second half, and we scored. But you know what? We didn't come away with the victory, but it's all right.
Right, and that'll wrap up our post-game show this evening. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Once again, your final from Blake Field here in Watseka, Illinois. The Watseka Warriors 21, the PBL Panthers 19. Peyton, I want to thank you for being my broadcast partner tonight. I had lots of fun.
No problem, Jay. Anytime.
All right, well, with that, we're going to close our show here. Hope everybody had a great evening. I'm Jay Eshelman with my partner, Peyton McClure. Good night.